Hi, my name is Joe Brooks. I'm a well-rounded visual artist with 17 years of creative experience in branding global consumer products. And in this video, we'll dive into how to resize photos for a WordPress website built with Elementor. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download some software. Now, don't worry about this. It's a free software and it doesn't take up a lot of space on the hard drive. So completely safe to use, and it's 100% free. In fact, it's made by the same people that make Canva. It's just a more robust piece of software that can let you do a lot more things than Canva will let you do. In fact, you could probably use this for all of your social media, pretty much just about anything that you can think of. This software will do for you, and it will do for you on the computer versus doing it online. And it's just a lot more stable environment. So go ahead and go to affinity.studio, as you can see up here. And then you're going to click Get Affinity. And then you'll sign up and download it. And then you'll install it. And I'll see you in a second when you open up the software. Okay, so now that you've downloaded Affinity and you have it open, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the program and go through a few of the little things that we need to do before you get started. So go ahead and open it up. Okay. So now that we have it open, we can see here up at the top that there's a few different options: vector, pixel, layout, slice, Canva AI. Canva AI is a paid service, so you won't be able to use that unless you pay a monthly subscription to Canva. Then you can use that. For the time being, we won't even be touching any of that. We're going to only be touching one thing for resizing, and that's pixel. Go ahead and select pixel. And then you're going to do control or command, depending on what machine you're on, Apple or Windows. Windows is control and Apple is command. And then do control O or command O to open up a file. And then we're going to go browse our files and find a photo file that we're going to resize. So let me look for something really quick. Okay, so I've found a file. This one happens to be a specific size. If you go down over here to the right, whoops. If you go down over here to the right, you can see that there's a couple of options here. There's Navigator, Transform, and History. You will more than likely be on Navigator, which is fine. Just select over to Transform and you'll see the size of the photo there. Specifically for this tutorial, we're going to be resizing for the carousel, which is the images that you see when you land on the website. They just kind of scroll by and they're full screen images. So full screen images demand a very large, wide photo. And that's what we're kind of looking at right here. It says 3840 by 2560, which is very, very large. You don't need it to be that big for most screens. But this photo was taken at that size. So that's the size that it is. So we're going to do some resizing and make it the size that's needed for the actual website, which would be something more close to like 1920 by 1080, which is like a normal screen size. I will make it a little bit larger than that, just in case people are using 4K screens. So in order to do that, we have to go up into this gray area and just select out of the image if you haven't. If it's selected, you'll have to click out here, and then you can see it says document setup. So like I said, click this gray area, select document setup, and then you'll see the page width and page height. What we're going to be doing is we're making it a little bit smaller. We're going to change this to 2560 and then hit enter. And that's going to make it the exact same size ratio as the one before. It's just going to be a little bit smaller, a percentage smaller. And so right now it's at 2560 by 1706.7, something like that. And you'll see that nothing's really happened. It hasn't changed. And that's because it's pretty much the exact same size as it was before. It's just the resolution is smaller. But because this is a 1080 screen, you're not going to see any difference in quality. So it's just going to look like it's the same exact thing. So from there, what we're going to do is we're going to select the photo and you just click it anywhere on the photo. And then you're going to come over here to this area, to the crop tool, and you're going to click crop. And then you're going to leave it at unconstrained. There's several different options. You might be in resample or custom or original. Make sure you select unconstrained. Basically what it's saying is you can make it any size you want from these 2 points here. So you do want it to be 2560, but in order for it to match the size of the carousel on the website, you're going to want it to be 1440. And then you're going to hit enter, and it makes it that size. Now it's 2560 by 1440, but you can see she's kind of too tall. So all you got to do is click and hold inside the crop and then raise it up a little bit higher. I'd probably raise it up all the way to the top for this photo. Not all photos are going to need this. And then you're going to say, okay, cool, that's great. Hit return or enter, and it is officially resized for the carousel. Now, a few little points to make out. Not all photos are going to be wide like this photo. Some photos are going to be vertical. And when they're shot vertically, you're still going to do the same process. And I'm going to open up a photo and show you. You're going to make it wide from that vertical in order to fit the carousel. Because if you place it on that carousel at a vertical size, you're going to have black on the left and the right hand side of the screen when the carousel scrolls by, and it's kind of break the effect. It just doesn't look right. So you want to adjust every photo that you have to be widescreen for that carousel. Now, there might be other parts of the website that you might want vertical photos. That's fine for those specific areas, but for this specific application, the carousel, you want it to be wide. So what we'll do is we'll open up a vertical photo and we'll convert that. So we're going to do Command or Control O, find a vertical photo. Okay, so this is just an example. Obviously, this is not going to be for this specific website, but I couldn't find one for that specific website. This photo is vertical. And so what we're going to do to change this one is kind of keep it exactly the same as it is, but you can see it's pretty large. It's 9K, so it's huge. So you do want to make it a little bit smaller. And in order to do that, you press into this gray area, document setup. So in this case, the smaller number is the one that you want to change. You want to change that to 2560. Hit OK. And now you can see it hasn't changed because it's the same ratio. Same idea as before. And then you're going to do the same thing again. Click on crop. It's going to crop the photo, unconstrained. And then from here, you're going to change this to 1440 and move it and hit enter. And so, yes, it is going to cut off a large majority of that photo. So that's something to think about when you're cropping vertical photos. If it's going to cut off too much and it's way too much stuff, like important stuff for you to be cutting off, I would reconsider using that photo at all for a carousel. It's just not going to be usable. So, and that is your best bet. But if it does still look good, this is the option that you're going to get. And then from this point on, now we're going to export stuff. So we'll go back to that first photo because we're going to need to export this one and the next one as well. So make sure that you've resized all your photos before you export anything out. So what we're going to do to export, go up to File, and then we're going to go down to Export, select Export, and then it'll give us some options. We have JPEG, we have PNG. This isn't really going to matter too much because we're going to re-export it again from a different website that's going to give us the right type of file for a website. So from here, usually what I like to do is I like to just export it as a JPEG. And then you don't want to select low quality, medium quality, high quality, best quality. You would just want to see the file size. So it's saying estimated file size is 2.1 megabytes. That's pretty big. You don't want it to be that big when you upload it to the website, because if you do, it's going to bog down the website, and then people will, like when they land on that website, they're going to have to wait for that to load, and it could take some time. So what you do instead is you make the file smaller here just a little bit, as far as the size is concerned. And you can do that instead of going high quality, medium quality, low quality. I like to click on best quality and then go down here to the quality section and drop it down to like maybe 95. And that gives you a workable file, and it still looks really good and nice and crispy, but small enough. And then it's going to be even smaller after we do this next export that we're going to do. So go ahead and hit export, and you're going to find a place to export it. So like in this case, it would be website refresh. And I place it in new photos for 2026. And then I would say save it there. Okay, so now that that's saved there, we're going to go to our web browser. I use Tiny PNG. Just do a search for it. And you're going to see Tiny PNG and a bunch of this stuff. This is all sponsored results. Do not click any of this. It's a little panda. Click on that guy. I already have it open over here. And yeah, you can see there's a little panda there. And this is where you're going to upload your image and make it even smaller for the website. So what you'll do is you'll select this button down here, convert my images automatically. Click on that. Then you're going to go all the way over to WebP. A WebP file is what you need for any website. It doesn't matter what website you're working on. You must use WebP as the file format for your websites if you want the best experience for any of the users of your website, because it makes the files very small and very easy to read on a phone, on a computer, just about anywhere. So I click on WebP, and then from here you can drag and drop from whatever folder it is that you saved that file, or you can click on it and it'll bring up your files. I just saved it. It's right here, save today at 3:50. I select it, I hit open, and it automatically starts to convert it. And then it says, okay, it was 740 KB and it dropped it down to 81, which is awesome. That's what you want. So after that, you hit download all images. And then for me, rather than going to my downloads, you can leave it in your downloads if you want. I go back to that same folder that I saved that file in, and I hit save. And then I open it back up in that folder. And now we can see what size that folder really is, or file, sorry. So here's the original JPEG. And then here's the new one, the WebP file, 81 KB. And now all we got to do is upload it to the website. So we're going to go to our website, specifically this one. Mine's already logged in, but it should give you a login, and that's how you'll get into the website. Okay, so now you want to upload that photo. You're going to select, hover over media, and then select add media file. It'll either open up a new window for you. In my case, it did that. And then or it'll load it in that specific window for you. It depends on how you have your browser set up. I have it to open a new window. So basically it's going to jump over here, and then you can select file and then upload the file that you saved, the new file, the WebP file. Open. And now you can go into your library, which is right here off to the left. Let it load. Of course, it opened up a new window for me. And you can see right here, if you sort by date or uploaded to, it will show you the most recent file. You have a bunch of options, delete. And then for this specific website, I do have a replace. It's a plugin called Replace, and you can select replace. Again, it opens up a new window. And here's what's really cool. If you have an old image that you want to replace and they're the exact same size, you can click here and then upload a different photo that's the exact same size. In this case, here's another WebP file. It's also the same exact size. You can select that and then hit open, and it loads it to replace this one. and then you just select upload. I'm not going to do that right here because I've already got this photo in the website, and we don't have this one in there, but I just leave it there. And that's pretty much it. That is how you resize a photo for a carousel, and that is how you upload it to the website. What we'll do next in the next video is we'll show how to edit the website and edit the carousel to add this specific photo or any other photo into the carousel. Or if you want to make changes to the website, like text, maybe even some buttons that are not named correctly, or rename buttons, or you can even add links to buttons. Let's say, like for this one, I know they specifically sell tickets, so you can add a link to a button that takes it to a ticket page where they sell tickets. So we'll do that all in the next video. This one was just a resizing video. Thank you for joining us.